On this edition of Forever Home, we're working on repairing some of the water damage that we found in this house and putting things back together. We've also got the MiniSplit in and started the drywall spackling on the inside. Let's go take a walk and we'll show you what we found. Here we go. So we showed you in a previous video that we had found water damage inside this window here, and a lot of it was streaming from what was going on coming down off this roof, getting down behind the board and batten system, coming down to the top of the window, getting in around the window, and coming down this whole side of the back of the gym here that we're going to be putting in. So we had to address that. So we started taking down the board and batten. We just started working from one end and kept going, you know, as we kept finding water damage. So all of this wound up coming off. We found that the top edges, and we might be able to edit in some before pictures here, all the top of this window here, the bottom edges of most of those boards were shot, and so our team was able to cut those out and remove them. And we found some pretty significant damage underneath the windows as well. So this pretty much came off all the way here to the corner. We were able to replace the damaged OSB sheathing that was on the side of the house, put new house wrap on. We got some new 1x12 cedar, got a whole stack of that, 160 some feet or whatever it was ordered. And the guys have gotten that painted over the last 2 days with some special paint that requires 16 hours of drying time. Just had to recoat, so that's always fun. We've got these primed and painted and back on where they need to be, and the house wrap is in place. Now, a couple of interesting things that Norm discovered when he was taking this apart. Come down here at the bottom. This stucco that's here is over framing, is over OSB. There's not a rain screed behind it. There's not a drain cavity behind there. And when we talk about stucco, that's just asking for problems. But why do they do that? Well, over here on the garage, they have a block foundation that comes up 2 courses of block above the cement pad. And so in order to match that, they needed framing back here to support the floor at the height that they wanted. Now, what they decided to do was stop the block at the right height so that they could frame and put their flooring in. But one of their other options, what they could have done, would have been to take 12-inch block and build the foundation with 12-inch block, come up to the height that they needed, and then switch to 8-inch block. That would have left them a ledge. That's something that you normally might do with the footers when you're going to pour a pad. Well, they could have done that, and they could have set the joist on top of that, and that would have allowed them to stucco on this side. Now, over here on the back, they just brought the board and batten all the way down to where the cement block was. But if they wanted to do stucco on the side, really would have been nice to have that against a masonry product, or at least have put in a rain screen. Now, they didn't put the rain screen in. They've got the board and batten and stuff. The other thing they didn't do is they didn't put in a drip cap previously. So they've got, Norm has put in this 𝗗𝘂𝘲 flashing here and drip cap down. Any water that ever got behind the board and batten system before was able to run right behind the stucco and cause damage to whatever framing may be back there as well. And we're not in a spot where we can get to that, but if it's dry, it should be fine. So the guys have put in the drip cap, they've put in the house wrap, and then we've got our board and batten going back on top of it. So this is not going to leak again in the future. Meanwhile, while all that was happening, we brought out our HVAC installer, and we've got our MiniSplit system put in. The line set is here. We're waiting on the cover to show up. It's always fun with back-ordered materials. And I'll take you inside and show you the head unit on that here in a second. We'll climb up the ladder and I'll show you the next piece of what's going on here. So as we begin to build this back across, you can see there is a bit of a kick-out flashing down here. That's great, wonderful. We're glad to see that. That helps bring the water out into the gutter. But what we're going to be doing before we put this back together is going to be installing a 2x4, about a 1/2 inch off this roof deck all the way up. And that's going to give us something to bring the board and batten system down onto. We're going to put a piece of Z-flash over that. And if this roof ever has to get replaced, the roofers are going to put their step flashing right underneath our counter flash, and they'll have the ability to work that back in without disturbing the siding system. So 2x4 goes on, the Z-flash drip cap goes over that, counter flash goes over that, and then the house wrap's going to come down on top of that. So any water that comes behind comes down, it gets moved to the outside, which is what you want. So that's going to be the next step. Now that we've brought all of this back over to this point, we can start working on this up here. Let's take you inside and show what's going on the other side. So we're here on the other side of the building, and we're going to wind up doing that exact same process on this section up here and bring that down, and then this door is going to get taken out and moved up a little bit to make room for the new floor, painted, adjusted. Right now it doesn't open and close properly, and we're going to reset that. Right now this is as far as you can get the door shut, and that's just not acceptable. So, working on that piece of things. Michael's been doing a phenomenal job in here. You can see it just looks beautiful. He's still got the corners to tape off, but all the main runs are done. He's got the nails spotted, so we got a couple more of the corners to work on, but he had to work kind of around, leaving space for the HVAC guys to get the electric in. We had to get wire power in through the garage in different places. So making good progress in here with what needs to get done. You can see the unit set up. This is a heat and cool unit. We can set it on auto, hit 70. It'll keep this the right temperature year round to maintain what we need for the hardwood floor that's going in. The manufacturer was very nervous about us using that in a sunroom situation, but we are sort of on the northern side of the house. We're not getting the direct sun that a lot of sunrooms do, and that's going to, I think, bode in our favor. And with that unit in place, that'll allow us to get this conditioned so that we can move the lumber in, so that the room can acclimate, so that the lumber can acclimate before we put it down. And as long as they leave that in auto and let it run year round at 70, this floor should be perfect. So that unit's been set up where it needs to be. And we'll spin the camera in the other direction so you can take a look back the other way. The guys have our holes in for the puck lights, and we'll get those going here once we get paint up. So waiting for spackle to dry, and obviously having the HVAC system in up here is going to help. 19 SEER, 1 ton, 12,000 BTUs, and perfect for this space and for what we need, and should be relatively energy efficient. Not going to suck a whole lot of power to do what they need to do in here. So this room is coming along once we get our spackle done, prime, paint, and then we need to get our hardwood in here, and it needs 7 days to acclimate. This door, like I said, is coming out. We're gonna move that up. There's actually 2, if we look at the older pictures, there's 2 horizontal runs across here of 2x4. We're gonna just take one of those off. That's gonna allow us to bump the door up, give us a little bit more clearance on a hardwood floor, and that's also gonna allow us to adjust and fix the kind of the rack and everything in the door, plumb, level, square, everything you need to do to make that door operate correctly. And if it's a little bit swollen, then maybe we can shave something if we need to, but pretty sure this is gonna get back in working order once we have it aligned properly. We're guessing that's what the major holdup is here. So I'll take you outside, I'll show you the outside of the MiniSplit unit that we've installed. So you can check that out here. Very small unit, very energy efficient, and I got our line set run up and across. We'll get our cover on that shortly, and we are going to bury the condensate line. It's up here on kind of a bad spot for it. So what you'll see is we grab this conduit, and we're going to drop that line into there, run this around the building and all the way down, and we're able to tie that into the gutter downspout system, so that we're not just dripping copious amounts of condensated water on the outside of the building on the high side where it doesn't really have room to flow and get downhill. So that piece is in, the unit's in, we're just waiting for that outside cover to show up. So that's what we're working on here today. Yep, HVAC, we do that too. If we can help solve a problem for you, give our team a call. There's nothing that we don't address: roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, anything on the interior home, kitchen renovation, bathroom remodel, basement makeover. Take a picture of what's bugging you and send it to our team, 484-748-0008. Choose option 2 for 𝗗𝘁, your full service construction and renovation company, and extension 2 for new projects, and our team will be happy to assist you weekdays 9:30 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Custom dream home, addition, a garage. There's not much that we don't handle, that we don't get into, that we can't assist you with. So remember, we're done with it. You're gonna be proud to say it's not just done. It was 𝗗𝘁. We are a registered and insured Pennsylvania home improvement contractor, number 88078, and in Newcastle County, Delaware, 10490. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Forever Home. We look forward to speaking with you and helping you solve a problem. We'll catch you guys on the next edition. Bye for now.